We have coming up is Soil IQ. Presenting are Jason Aramburu and Luke Eisman. They have a plant.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Aramburu. I am the co-founder and CEO of Soil IQ. I'm joined on stage by Luke Eisman, my co-founder and hardware developer. So I'm a soil scientist, and I'm really passionate about food, delicious organic food. But the reality in this country and much of the world is that most of our food is produced on a farm like this, a factory farm. These farms are great for producing corn, soybeans, grains, not so good for producing healthy food. Also, bad for the environment. We've put together a team of scientists, developers, and one of the top design and strategy firms in the world, Fuse Project. We're working with Yves Behar, one of the world's greatest industrial designers, to revolutionize how the 100 million homeowners with a lawn or garden in the US grow food. So, I'm here to show you our device and our software platform, Soil IQ. So, Soil IQ is a wireless soil sensor, a precision agriculture sensor for small gardens and farms. The device measures and streams humidity, temperature, moisture, pH, and plant available light to the cloud instantly. The device is powered by a solar panel, meaning it can run indefinitely in the field. So imagine this houseplant is a farm or your backyard garden. User places Soil IQ in the soil, and if we could switch to the iPad, please. Elmo. Can we switch to the live view, please, of the iPad? Thank you. So the user immediately sees all these parameters on screen. They can view the data instantly. They can also view it historically. And we've developed an algorithm that takes all this information and makes recommendations. So the user can actually grow crops that are best suited for their local environment. Fruits, vegetables, medicinal crops. Let's add a vegetable crop. So here in this environment, it's recommending we grow arugula. Now, once you add the crop, the device is actually populated with the optimal parameters, watering, fertilizer, light, everything, that you need to grow this food. And because the device is solar powered, it's constantly monitoring. Now, those of you who know a gardener or who are friends with a gardener, you'll know they love to brag. So we've made the platform social. And the platform will allow you to see who around you is growing what. Maybe refresh the map. Allows you to see who's growing what around you. And this is very useful in a place like San Francisco, where we've got about 20 different microclimates. You might be able to grow tomatoes in Potrero, but maybe not necessarily in Soma. So you can see all these people around you who are growing delicious produce. And if you're not a gardener, you can message them, buy their produce, get tips, see pictures of their crop, whatever you want. So that's our platform. And if we switch back to the Mac, please, to the laptop. Can we switch back to the laptop, please? So one of the biggest challenges in gardening we found with our beta customers is that people forget to water their plants. If you've ever had a house plant or an office plant, you know it's kind of hard to remember. Well, with Soil IQ, the device actually tweets you when you need to water your plants, add fertilizer, or really respond to any of the parameters. And if you ignore the tweets, they get a little more impassioned. So we're launching with consumers because we believe what's lacking in big ag and small to medium-sized ag is data. You know, farmers know all this information anecdotally, but there's no data on how to grow things like alpine strawberries or purple haze tomatoes. So our strategy is to source that data from consumers who are consuming this stuff, eating it, and producing it, and then go after small to medium-sized ag. But there's also a social component to what we're doing. Our team's very passionate about impact. Luke and I have both worked in East Africa, helping farmers to grow more food, funded by the Gates Foundation. And we're partnered with Orange, one of the largest telecoms in France and Africa. And together with Orange, we're bringing this technology to farmers in need in Kenya. So in addition to helping the environment, we're also generating social impact. So, we're working with Yves Behar and Fuse, one of the top design firms, and naturally, I want to show off the design. We're really proud of it. So for the first time, I'm happy to show on stage, thrilled to show the design of our probe. It's functional, it's beautiful, it's iconic, and it's meant to be something that gardeners are proud of, that you can display with pride in their yard for time for their family and for their friends. So we're really excited about this project. We invite you to sign up for our beta at soiliq.co, check out our AngelList profile, and together we can change how the world grows food. Thank you.
Great job.
So,
Judges?
I'm a big gardener. I always plant a vegetable garden with my father, and he's very proud of his tomatoes. So, but I think this would be amazing to have for him. I will say the name doesn't do justice to it, so I was just going to suggest you call it Eden.
Oh, that's a good name. That's really good. Well, we're working with Yves and Fuse on the name. Soil IQ at this point is the dev. That's a really good name.
That might be a good one. So I'm really impressed with this. I think the social aspect of sharing and it would be interesting if did you have in the product roadmap or even in currently the community aspect of actually sharing tips and connecting with people?
Because that's something that gardeners do already informally, anecdotally. They share information with their friends, tips on what the best varieties are, the best conditions. So users can share that information through the app. They can send their data directly to their friends and their followers. And they can also rate their crops, and other people can rate their crops for them. So it creates, it takes what gardeners are already doing and brings it online in a new way.
The other aspect I'd love is if I could I just moved to San Francisco, so if I don't know what I can grow in my neighborhood, and I don't know what I could grow in the soil I have in the backyard. Yep. So it'd be cool if I planted this, Eden in there, and then it actually reported to me, like you said, here's the things you can grow. And then you just delivered that.
Yeah.
So the seeds and the kit for growing those vegetables for exactly my microclimate, my soil, that would be another service that you could actually build on top of your platform.
We're exploring a lot of different services that we can bundle in, like supplying fertilizer as well. As I mentioned, we've got a background in the fertilizer industry through previous ventures. So yeah, that's definitely part of it, absolutely.
Great.
So how many probes, so per garden is one, but how many probes do you need per farms? Yep. Just looking at the scaling and how much does it cost?
Yep. So for the Wi-Fi range on the device, it's rated for a quarter mile. The devices, the wireless connection, the devices can mesh together. So we found that you need a minimum of 1 probe per acre. That puts a quarter mile between the probes. However, for consumers, in big ag, you're generally only growing 1 crop on an acre, but for consumers, they might want to grow like potatoes and strawberries. So for consumers, they would want 1 probe for each crop if they're very different, if they're growing things that require very different conditions.
And on cost, our bill of materials is at small quantities about $15. We'll drop that substantially. We're thinking for our initial crowdfunding effort to launch in December, and we'll have a price point below $100 on the basic offering.
Did you say 50 or 15?
15.
Okay.
It would also be interesting, just on the social impact side, to have almost a Warby Parker / Tom's Shoes model, where if you buy one, you're helping sponsor this somewhere, and it comes with the whole support of not just the device, but also growing the garden and the seeds and fertilizer.
So something we learned in Kenya is that Kenyans are really good at farming, and we're really bad at even keeping our house plants alive. So it's very much you're not just donating one, you're actually going to, by farmers who know what they're doing, using the device, improve how much everyone who's part of the Soil IQ family can grow.
What's the current, have you done any calculations on the TAM? Like what's the total market?
So in the US, there's 100 million households with a lawn or garden. And the average size of that garden is 600 square feet. And in general, gardeners will spend about $120 a year on their garden on things like tools and inputs.
It's way more than that. It's way more than that. My wife says way more than that.
Yeah.
And you know, the aggregate lawn and garden industry is about 21 billion right now in the US.
21 billion.
Yeah.
Further, we expect to grow that. Other than the Soylent Corporation guys, we're pretty sure that everyone enjoys eating food, and if it's easier to do so, they'll grow their own.
Yeah.
So every time my wife leaves town, she comes back and all the plants in the house are dead, which is unfortunate. Do you think that you can make a sort of a home version, consumer version, like for complete dummies about plants, almost like an introduction to gardening class built into the device?
Sure. You know, the strategy first is collect the data, crowdsource the data. We've populated it with the most popular crops and how to grow them, but we'll learn as more and more people use the platform. And then absolutely, we can supply videos, instructions, tutorials. Our passion is for people to go organic, obviously, so we would want to prioritize organic ag for consumers.
So I would urge you to think bigger and bigger, because I actually think that you have the potential to be the Nest for home and garden. So imagine if this also controlled the watering of the plants. So instead of sending a notification saying, I'm dying, I need water, actually just it controls it, it provides it.
Exactly.
Part of our IP portfolio is the automation side, so integrating with things like drip irrigation systems to make it totally hands-off.
Because the issue is that you might have, you know, too much water or not enough water. So figuring out how you can tune that, and water comes to mind as the most natural to control. Then there is the, you know, there's a lot of things you can feedback and get alerts, but water seems to be very natural.
Absolutely. Agriculture is a major consumer of water. About 70% goes to agriculture.
It's not now, but later on we'll add other exciting things like some image recognition for disease identification, other things where we can use this technology that's all around us to really simplify growing and improve agricultural yield.
I have two questions. So for farmers in Kenya, South Africa, East Africa, etc., many of who don't have internet access, how are they accessing the data?
So with the help of Orange, we're able to offer free data for users of the product in Kenya.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
And then my second question is, are you planning to distribute it through stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, or just sell it online?
Well, initially it's online, but we want to get into retail in big box stores as well as smaller specialty gardening and hydroponic stores.
All right.
So we've actually been talking with Home Depot a bit.
So we're out of time, but that was a great job, you guys. It's Soil IQ.